Hello, 12th graders. How are you guys doing today? Fantastic? That's great. So today we're going to be talking about fitness and the different aspects that make up fitness. So to start off, we're going to talk about standards of learning and the health goal. So the standards of learning, the student will demonstrate an understanding of health concepts, behaviors, and skills that reduce health risks and enhance the health and wellness of oneself and others throughout life. And our health goal today is going to be, I will develop and maintain a health-related fitness. So some objectives for today. By the end of the lesson, I want the students to be able to demonstrate an understanding of fitness by listing the 5 components of fitness, define aerobic and anaerobic respiration or exercise, and calculate your max heart rate. So what is fitness? Hannah, can you give me, when you think about fitness, what comes to mind? Just name anything. There's no wrong answers here.
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt? Okay. What about you, Zach? What do you think?
I think Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay. What about not people? What about concepts? Drew, what do you think?
Concepts?
Yeah.
I think good health.
Good health?
Able to do a lot of physical things.
What are some what are some different aspects of exercise?
Muscular strength, muscular endurance, respiratory health.
Oh, you're nailing it today. So, starting off, first one, we're going to talk about what the actual definition of fitness is. So, one's ability to execute daily activities with optimal performance, endurance, and strength with the management of disease, fatigue, and stress, and reduce sedentary behavior. So, you're active, you're moving around, it's healthy for you, you get the blood pumping, you're developing all sorts of different components of fitness. So you have cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, flexibility, and body composition. Philip, can you give me an example of what you think would be cardiovascular endurance?
Running.
Running? Okay, that's a good one. Caroline, what do you think about muscular strength?
Squats.
Squats, that's a good one. Chase, what about muscular endurance?
Like doing multiple reps of something.
That's really good. What's like an exercise you can think of?
Push-ups.
Push-ups, that's a great one. Okay. Zach, what do you think about flexibility? What comes to mind?
Stretching, just like reaching for your hands.
Exactly. And Shelby, what is body composition? That's okay. Duncan, what do you think?
Like body fat and stuff.
Yep.
Body's made of.
So body fat, lean tissue, bones, muscle, all that. Yep, that makes up body composition. And here's some more elaborate definitions of it. So when you look at cardiorespiratory endurance, that refers to our ability to perform an activity with our heart rate elevated for a certain amount of time. So jogging, you can jog for like 30 minutes, your heart rate's elevated, but you're able to do it, and you improve on that, and that's improving your cardiorespiratory endurance or cardiovascular endurance. And then muscular strength, that's our ability to exert force during an activity. So how much can you squat, or when you're deadlifting, like how much you can deadlift or bench press. And then flexibility, like Zach was saying, the range of motion around our joints. So stretching, getting that hamstring stretch in, stretching your bicep or your tricep. Then you have muscular endurance. So that's going to be the ability of our muscles to continue to perform activity without fatiguing. So multiple reps. For example, like push-ups. How many push-ups can you do? And then body composition, that is the amount of body fat, muscle, bone, and other tissue that makes up our bodies. So, what is endurance? We're going to get into that. That's going to be the main topic today. So there's cardiovascular endurance, and that is the ability of the heart and lungs to deliver oxygen to working muscles during sustained physical activity. So when you're running, you're starting to get out of breath, your body is demanding more oxygen. And then muscular endurance is defined as the ability of a muscle group to execute repeated contractions over a period of time. So push-ups, how many times can you contract your pectoralis major or your triceps or your front delts? And over a period of time, sufficient to cause muscular fatigue or to maintain a specific percentage of a maximum voluntary contraction for a prolonged period of time. How many push-ups can you do in a certain amount of time? And some examples of cardiovascular endurance would be running, jogging, walking, swimming, biking, and climbing. And then when it comes to examples of muscular endurance, we're going to be looking at things like push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and then just exercises that you do in the gym like squats, bench, deadlifts, curls. So what does oxygen do and when is it used? Does anybody know the answer to that? Tori, what do you think? That's okay. We're going to get into it right here. Okay, here we go. Be really quiet. The volume doesn't go up too high here. Oop, that did not pop up onto the screen. Okay. Alrighty. Does anyone know how to project this onto the screen? Do you know, Professor, by any chance? No? Drag it over? Oh. Oh my. Science. Technology. Oh, I'm so smart. There we go.
Anaerobic
Oh, wow.
respiration
Okay.
does
Thank
not
you.
require oxygen. The first stage of anaerobic respiration is glycolysis and takes place in the cytoplasm. In this stage, one glucose molecule is split into two 3-carbon sugars, and 2 ATP are produced. In order for this process to continue, the next step is fermentation. There are two main types of fermentation, either alcoholic fermentation or lactic acid fermentation. They both accomplish the same thing. They regenerate key molecules that are necessary to keep glycolysis going. So in this way, an organism that does anaerobic respiration is able to produce a small amount of ATP even when oxygen is not present. Let's compare that to aerobic respiration now. Aerobic respiration starts with the same process of glycolysis in the cytoplasm. Glucose is broken into two 3-carbon sugars and 2 ATP are produced. Then what happens is the products from glycolysis move into the mitochondria and go through two more stages, the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain. During these two complex metabolic processes, 34 more ATP are produced by breaking down glucose more completely. So your net total of ATP from aerobic respiration is 36 compared to 2 ATP for anaerobic respiration. Most organisms use aerobic respiration if they can get the oxygen because it's more efficient and it allows their cells to get more energy more efficiently. But in certain cases, like in human muscle cells when it runs out of oxygen, or in anaerobic bacteria and yeast, being able to get energy from glucose when oxygen is not present is an important and useful metabolic process. I hope that was helpful.
I do too. So,
My job is to make college easier because students have a lot of problems.
okay. So the process of aerobic respiration, it yielded way more ATP. ATP is a fuel source, and that's what's going to allow our muscles to contract and to move around. So when you're doing anaerobic, you had 2 ATP that were produced. That's not a lot of energy, which is why you're only allowed to do, or your body's only capable of doing maximal performance for only a shorter amount of time. We're going to get into that next. So, how does your body work? There are 5 zones, okay? There are 5 heart rate zones. So we're going to start with zone 1. This is going to be the 50 to 60% of your heart rate max, okay? And this is going to be very light intensity. And an example of this would be you walking to your freezer to get another bowl of Haagen-Dazs because self-care is important. You are moving at a slow pace. You're not in a rush. You're just walking around. You've been sitting on the couch for a while. You stand up, and your heart rate jumps a little bit because you haven't been active. The next one, and what you're going to be using that's going to be aerobic, okay? You're going to be using oxygen for that. Zone 2, this is going to be in the 60 to 70% of your heart rate max, and this is going to be a little bit harder, but it's sustainable for a few hours. An example of this, you see a golden retriever puppy ahead of you, and it's adorable, and who doesn't like dogs, okay? So you see it ahead of you, and you walk a little bit faster because you have to pet it. I mean, come on. And then you have zone 3. This is a very important zone, okay? This one's going to be at 70 to 80% of your heart rate max, and this is going to be moderate. So the example I have up there is actually a very personal one from me this weekend. So you're hiking up Sharp Top. You have a pretty good pace going. You're sweating. You're breathing heavy. It's hard to form sentences. And you pass by someone coming down, and you have a very unpleasant look in your face. I'm sweating, and I'm not enjoying myself. And they come down, they say, beautiful day for a hike, isn't it? And it's very hard for you to just mumble out the words, yeah, it's a great day. Because you're using oxygen as much as you can into your muscles. And this is sustainable at this pace for 10 to 60 minutes. And then the next one is zone 4. This is going to be the 80 to 90% of your heart rate max. This one's going to be sustainable for 2 to 10 minutes. This one's tough. And you're cutting the rug up on the dance floor at a wedding. You look ridiculous, but who cares? You're sweating, you're moving around, you're getting all pumped up, you're sweating, you're out of breath, but who cares, right? You look great. So zone 5, that's going to be the 90 to 100% of your heart rate max. This is maximum effort, okay? This one is, your coach tells you you have to do one more sprint for the 3rd time in a row, and it feels like he's trying to kill you. Who here is an athlete? Raise your hand. You guys ever do sprints after practice? And you ever just have your coach be like, one more, and you feel like you're going to die, and your heart is beating really, really fast, you're out of breath? That's the zone that you're in. So I want you guys to get into groups of 4 or 5. Let's try to do this. Let's have a group over here, and then group over there. And then actually we'll have Zach, Duncan, and Shelby. I want you guys to be a group there. So 3, 3, 3, and then you guys, this entire row is a group. So get together in groups for like 1 to 2 minutes, and I want you guys to list 5 activities. One activity that you guys can do that would target each one of those heart rates, those zones. So get together, come up with something. Yes, I can. Any questions?
Yeah. You're midfield, so you're running a lot.
That is true. You guys have any questions? All right, have you guys come up with an activity? All right, 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. All right, Chase, give me an example for zone 1.
Zone 1?
Yeah.
We didn't really get that far, but I can come up.
Can you give me one for zone 2 or 3?
Yeah, for zone 3, I mean, it could just be like a light, moderate jog.
Yep.
Nothing too hard or nothing too light.
Yes. All right, that's a good one. All right, Caroline, what do you got?
For
Give me any zone. Give me
any zone?
an activity for any of the zones.
Oh, I got a good one. For zone 3, it's going up to this class if the elevator is ever broken. Walking.
I personally would be in zone 5 for that, but that's good for you that you're in zone 3. All right, Duncan, what do you got?
For zone 2,
Yeah,
I just said walk up the stairs.
that's good. All right, Shane, what do you got? Give me a zone 4.
Zone 4.
Yeah.
Shoot. I don't know. We had Duncan basketball class.
Yeah? Getting a sweat going? You're breathing? I heard the professor, and that's kind of tough. So, yeah. All righty. So we're going to go on to the next one. This is going to be you guys working by yourselves. We're going to talk about calculating your heart rate max. So your heart rate max is going to be 220, and there's a bunch of different formulas. This is the easiest one. You're going to do 220 minus your age, okay? So once you calculate that, I want you to take that formula at the bottom left, 220 minus your age times whatever the percentage is. So times 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, and I want you guys to just write those down, just have those for yourself. You can take your phone out and use the calculator if you need to. Let's take a minute to do that. Alrighty, Randall, do you want to give me what 60% of your heart rate max is? Or any percentage? Yes.
Sorry. Yeah, the 60% was 119.4, I think.
Okay. Zach, what do you got for one of the percentages? 70%.
70% for me would be 139.
Okay. And then Drew, you want to give me a percentage?
80% is 158.4.
Fantastic. Okay. So we're going to go on to the next part, and this is how to improve your endurance. So as I said before, zone 3 is very important. This is the zone that you want to be in when you're trying to increase your respiratory endurance. So working in zone 3, your heart rate is in the 70 to 80% range, and if you remember back to the chart before, it's about, you can sustain this for about an hour. So going jogging or like power walking or hiking for an hour, that's a really good zone to be in. And the recommended amount of time of cardiovascular endurance training per week is about 150 minutes, and that's at moderate intensity. If you do vigorous intensity, that's going to be about 75 minutes per week. And that's about 20 minutes per day. And then for muscular endurance, it is best to work in a rep range of 15 to 25, okay? And the key to improvement is progressive overload. Every week, run a little extra more. If you're trying to improve your muscular endurance or your cardiovascular endurance, run a little bit more, add an extra 5 pounds to the bar, and just keep improving, keep progressively overloading. All right, so for review, 5 components of fitness. You have number 1, cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, flexibility, body composition. And then anaerobic versus aerobic. Anaerobic's going to be without oxygen. Aerobic's going to be with oxygen. And again, the recommended amount of exercise per week of aerobic exercise is 150 minutes at a moderate intensity. Then you have the 5 zones, okay? So we're going to do a quick quiz. If you guys can just take out your Kahoots. Alrighty, I'm going to start this in 15 seconds, so let's do it quick. $29, $28. All right, 10 seconds, guys. Get on in there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, there we go. So, fitness. True or false? You have 5 seconds or 10 seconds to answer these.
This is all time.
We're going to go through this pretty quickly. The Mayo Clinic recommends 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per day. True or false? Exactly. Trick question. Read it closely. Nice job, guys. I'm very proud. All are examples of the 5 components of fitness except nice. And then last one here. It's for double points. Working in what heart rate zone improves cardiovascular endurance the best? Nice job, guys. Randy. Nice job. Okay. And so I just want to leave you with this. 1 Corinthians 6, 19 through 20. Or do you not know that that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price, so glorify God in your body. Take care of your bodies. It's glorifying to God. And with that, thank you very much, guys.